Fintechs continue to place our country on the global startup and financial maps. Beyond that, they have helped to deepen financial inclusion while making it easier to perform various types of financial transactions that were previously cumbersome and in some cases non-existent. My guest on the show has a lot to share about the impact of fintechs. Guess what? We have a lot more lined up for you right after now. I am Chukwemeka Agbata. Welcome to Tech Trends.
The powers that technology and independent contracting give to workers enables them to take greater control of their careers to preserve work-life balance. For the average Nigerian, finding a home to rent sometimes could be a daunting task and, as some would say, an impossible mission. According to the federal government of Nigeria, there is a wide gap between the demand for and supply of housing units, with over 72 million Nigerians in need of a decent accommodation. The Center for Affordable Housing Finance in Africa states that currently the country has a housing deficit burden of 17 million units, which would require about 35 trillion naira to fund. Same source also states that as a result of the high cost and limited production of affordable housing in Nigeria, 51% of the population live in rented accommodation, with the majority of the population forced to rent, and low regulatory monitoring regarding rentals, landlords and estate agents dictating the market. But to solve the problems within the home rental ecosystem and improve renting conditions, a tech company in Nigeria, Live Easy, has created a platform to connect homeowners and property managers with tenants.
We're trying to reduce rent loss. We're trying to make it much more easier for people to find houses to rent and able to pay for it, right? We also want to be able to help property owners have a clearer view of what happens in their property. And we are also trying to improve data accessibility in that particular market for verification purposes.
The tech-driven home rental services platform secures apartments for tenants and provides other services for those in the community. They enable renters get easy access to rent financing, quality rental homes, and better homeowner-tenant relationship. The homeowner, on the other hand, is guaranteed rent payments as and when due and a cost-efficient way of managing his rental home. They also seek to provide affordable and flexible housing alternatives so renters can pay monthly, quarterly, or annually depending on their preferences.
We created a solution that takes the key players and put them in one platform, and then give them some management tools that help them transparently interact between each other, right? The landlords can easily see what the property manager is doing in his property, and the property manager can automatically also report back to the landlord. And more importantly, the tenants can easily communicate between those other two players, right? And so our technology puts those three stakeholders on one platform and gives them the opportunity to be able to interact transparently.
Via the platform, homeowners can also have control over their property managers and tenants, making rent management seamless and smarter. But as they try to solve the problems of property management, the home rental management platform also has its trials.
Based on the fact that the market itself is not totally organized, it's very difficult to get information. In fact, trying to understand the total population in the market was very difficult to get, because they report the home rental as in the real estate statistics, right? So there's no specific information about what is really happening in the home rental. The second thing is that property managers have gotten used to the system that they currently use, where everybody just does, anything they feel is the best to do, and it was easy to convince them that there's a better way, but it was harder to get them to see that they needed to be on an application to do that. Then the second thing is they've had situations where other people came with technology saying they want to help them, but they go behind their back to try and take their clients from them. And because we are trying to push something totally new, a whole lot of potential investors, we are not interested in taking the risk with us. So we basically had to bootstrap.
With lots of conflict often arising from landlord-tenant relationships, solutions like that of Live Easy could make finding affordable and flexible housing choices easier.
Hey, mein Name ist Franziska. Nett dich kennenzulernen.
Her name is Franziska. She can clean floors, chat about her day, sing a song or tell a joke. She works at a hospital in Munich where she cheers up staff and patients who talk to her or pat her on the head because Franziska is not only a cleaner, she's also a robot.
Ich bin ein Leopard, mach jeden Staub und Dreck weg. Komm und tanz mit mir, tanz, ich hab den heißesten.
According to her makers, the robot with blue eyes weighs 200 kilograms and costs 43,000 euros. It can clean floors for about 10 hours before it needs a 2-hour battery recharge. It uses less than 1 liter of water per hour to clean floors, while a conventional cleaning machine consumes up to 50 liters. For Constance Rettler's cleaning service, the purchase of Robot Franziska means saving time, which allows for her staff to focus on other duties such as cleaning and disinfecting surfaces, especially in times of coronavirus with many colleagues ill or in quarantine. Franzi is of help to clean the hospital corridors.
Natürlich in den Corona-Zeiten ist natürlich.
She is a great cleaning force, and the best part is she brings a lot of joy. She can sing, she can rap, she can tell jokes. We've all noticed, the staff say, "Hello Franzi, good morning." It's actually the greatest added value that Franzi brings in here for us.
Currently, the robot is still undergoing the test phase, but Tanja Zacker, head of cleaning and service at Munich's Nepolach Hospital, is already convinced of the robot's talents.
Was ist mein Lieblingsessen? Mein Lieblingsessen ist Königsberger Klopse.
It receives its orders by smartphone.
Also das ist eigentlich tatsächlich ein besonderer Aspekt. Die Mitarbeiter.
A special aspect is that staff and patients mostly react very positively to Franzi.
Nette, skurrile Situationen.
Super Saubermachkraft, ja. Und
In coronavirus times, robotics is obviously a big issue for us. While Franzi drives around cleaning floors, our staff has more time to disinfect surfaces. Franzi helps us a lot, allowing for more time to disinfect.
eigentlich auch der größte Mehrwert, den Franzi hier reinbringt, auch für uns.
Europe's largest university hospital, Berlin Charité, has also placed an order for Franzi, which received an innovation award at the Interclan Amsterdam Online Fair for Cleaning, Technology and Hygiene in 2020.
Oh, bewegst du dich nicht? Ich muss dringend sauber machen.
A vending machine that offers COVID-19 home test kits to the public, the first of its kind in the United States. Wellness for Humanity has unveiled the vending machine at its new flagship wellness location in New York City. The vending machine is contactless and the test is self-administered. The RT-PCR saliva tests are 99% accurate and the rapid antigen test is 97.4% accurate, according to the company.
It looks just like this. This is our PCR saliva, and essentially as soon as you get home you would open this. Inside there you just simply need a scoop of saliva to be able to have the results. It comes with a shipping label back, so all you have to do is just drop it off at your local FedEx and you're good to go. Results take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours, And something that we also will have in the future is expedited results, so that way travelers or people in immediate need can benefit from it.
Co-founder for Wellness for Humanity, Pavel Shutlik, says the goal of the automated vending machines is to give anyone who needs a test access to one.
Our core demographic right now is people that need to come back to work, music festivals, or any sorts of gatherings that are hopefully coming soon again.
Pavel says they are ready to keep the vending machines stocked to offer 300 to 400 tests per day. Similar vending machines have already been installed in Hong Kong and the UK, and UC San Diego unveiled vending machines that offer tests for COVID-19. But the tests at UC San Diego are only for students and not the general public.
How to recover deleted files. If you have ever accidentally deleted a file or deleted the contents of a file, you know that it can be incredibly frustrating. Fortunately, deleting a file may not be the end of the world. In fact, in many cases, the file is hidden in the recycle bin and can be easily retrieved. Look in the recycle bin. Just double-click on the recycle bin or trash can and you can see everything that's inside. Did you find what you thought you had deleted? Simply drag it back onto your desktop and you're good to go. If it's not in your trash can, then there are a number of other things you can try to recover a deleted file. Hopefully, you have been doing backups. If so, you can recover an earlier version of your file through the recovery service in Backup. Here's how to recover deleted files using file history. If you're not doing backups, hopefully you have turned on File History Backup. If you're running Windows 10, select the Start button, select Settings, Update and Security, Backup, Add a drive, and then choose an external drive or network location for your backups. To restore that important missing file or folder, type Restore Files in the search box on the taskbar, and then select Restore your file with File History. Look for the file you need, then use the arrows to see all its versions. When you find the version you want, select Restore to save it in its original location. To save it in a different place, press and hold or right-click Restore. Select Restore to and then choose a new location. No backups? Another possibility to consider: if you email the file to anyone, if you saved a copy on a cloud-based service like Dropbox, iCloud, or SkyDrive, if so, you might be able to grab a copy from there. However you approach it, there are lots of options to explore after you realize you have accidentally deleted a photo, document, spreadsheet, report, or other file. And get those backups going too, so next time you need to find a deleted file, you have more options.
Next is my chat with Ezine Obikile, Executive Director, System Specs. Stay with us.
Financial inclusion has been regarded as one of the most critical drivers of economic growth. This is because access to financial services have so far been proven as a means of empowering people in various ways. Over the past few years, financial technologies have gained prominence in the African continent, especially Nigeria, as an effective tool to bridge the financial inclusion gap. This, in the long run, has created an increase in consumer adoption of fintech solutions and attracted numerous investments. However, despite the strides, more needs to be done in the area of beefing up financial literacy campaigns such that individuals not only have access to these financial products and services, but are able to convert them to improve their financial status. This week's guest, Ezinne Obikile, the Executive Director at System Specs, shares how we can deepen financial inclusion.
Ezinne, glad to have you on the show today.
Thanks, Fred, for having me.
All right, let's start with an understanding of how Nigeria has fared in trying to reach the unbanked.
Okay, thank you. Over the years, the central bank has implemented various policies and regulations to improve financial inclusion. And I remember, I think it was in the 2016 review of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy that the target of 80% inclusion by 2020 was reached. However, this was again revised to 95% inclusion by 2024. Although official statistics are not out yet on what the numbers are at 2020, but going by what the NIPS has published, which is 47 million, about 46 million BVNs enrolled as at February 2021 this year. One can safely assume that almost 54 million Nigerians still do not have bank accounts. Okay, so the official survey that Elfina did as at 2018 put financial inclusion rate at 63%, which was indeed an improvement from the 58% that it was at by 2016. But even at that, if you consider what other African countries are doing, that looks very, very pale. Kenya has about 85% financial inclusion and South Africa has 90%. So from that perspective, you can clearly see that a lot still has to be done in the area of financial inclusion.
Okay, but what are some of the factors that you think is affecting this rapid growth that we should expect to see in reaching the unbanked?
The major problem, well, has been in several factors really, and I'll just touch on a few. The first one is, we don't have enough bank branches, let's face it. The banks will never, it costs money to set up a bank branch, and you don't have too many of them in the rural areas because the economics is not just right. Again, with the licensing of mobile money operators, one would have thought that we'll have moved a bit more rapidly than we have now. But again, the MMOs also prefer to operate in rural, urban cities. You hardly find a good number of them in the rural areas. So reach is a problem. Accessibility to financial services is a problem to financial inclusion. Also, the low density in the agent network. We don't have enough mobile money agents. SANEF has done a very great job working with other stakeholders in growing the number of agents. I think we had less than 100,000 agents 2 years ago, but now we're in the region of 580, 600,000 agents, okay? If you extrapolate, you can see that gives an agency ratio of one agent to 350 people, which is still a lot. Countries like Kenya, Bangladesh, they have less than one agent to 150 persons. So if you look at it from that perspective, we still need to enroll at least 1 million agents to begin to compete with countries like Kenya and South Africa. So the agency network is an issue. Then KYC challenges as well. It costs a lot of money to acquire KYC documentation. Okay, be it in BVN. You find that most people in rural areas, they don't even have BVN. They don't have verifiable addresses. So a lot of times, you want to onboard them on platforms, you can't because they don't have the required documentation. So that has been an issue as well. Then poor infrastructure too. You don't have enough broadband services, data services in the rural areas. So no matter what you want to deploy, if you don't have network, you can't access services. So these are some of the problems that has actually affected financial inclusion generally, particularly in the rural areas.
So as a fintech, what are some of the ways you are trying to add value despite all the challenges?
Okay, so what we did, for System Specs, all our solutions were actually built with financial inclusion in mind. Okay, so because of the nature of the merchants that we also serve, you know that Remitter is a flagship product today. It's used by both government and the public sector and the private sector, I'm sorry. And the payers, be it school fees, hospital bills, etc., are people that are located in both urban and rural areas. So in designing our payment systems, we are careful to include, multiple delivery channels to ensure that payments are accessible to everyone. Our payment gateway has multiple channels that you can use to make payments, and we have integrated with both microfinance banks, mobile money operators, and have APIs that we use to integrate our services to them so that we can extend it even beyond our immediate environment. So you go to any part of the country today, you can make a remitter payment either through a mobile agent operator or through a microfinance bank or the nearest bank branch to you. So we have consciously designed our solutions to accommodate everybody, both the unbanked and the banked.
Finally, this is probably a two-in-one question. Is number one, how do you see emerging technologies like blockchain, cryptocurrency, how do you think they would affect the future of fintech? And what are fintechs also doing to ensure they stay ahead of the game?
Okay, thanks, Fred. You know that blockchain is still an emerging technology, like you are sure of. And a lot of countries, the only implementation that we have seen that has been widespread has been in the area of cryptocurrencies, which a lot of central banks are not comfortable with because you don't actually have any control, over those transactions. However, there are other applications of the blockchain. Being a distributed ledger technology, can be applied to several uses. Okay, so the area that comes to mind, even as we are discussing financial inclusion, will be in the area of KYC as well. It is possible, and research is ongoing to prove that it is possible to store digital identities on the blockchain such that all participants in that block will have access to such identity. So once one service provider has onboarded a customer's digital identity, other people can use it without having to repeat the same process, as well. Another area that's, like I said, still largely being researched is in the area of hosting global bank accounts, such that the unbanked can actually log in, create a virtual bank account without the need to establish a physical bank account with any commercial bank. These are still, areas that are being researched. And whilst the technical research is going on, it will be necessary for financial regulators to also try and study that technology, and so that they can enact appropriate regulations that can guide practice when eventually it becomes widely adopted.
Interesting days ahead, isn't it? Thank you so much for being on the show today. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Fred, and have a lovely day.
I've been chatting with Ezine Obikile, Executive Director, System Specs, who believes that fintechs are indeed making a huge difference, but a lot more still needs to be done if we must achieve a financial inclusion status of 100%. If you ask me, I think fintechs are simply one of the best things happening to the financial industry. Today, 5-year-old fintech companies are more valuable than much older ones simply because innovation rules. That's our show for today. Please follow us on social media. You can watch these and previous editions of the show on Channels TV, YouTube, or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.